All right then. Speed Gaming Chat, welcome.
To the 8th AM2R Weekly.
Maybe 8th, is that how many weeks it's been? Oof.
Yes, it's been a few.
We like to hear it.
Yeah, we'll have a race now between Glitzy and Mr. Ledger here. And TGC, how familiar are you here with AM2R or the races?
The Racers is an easy one, not very. I recognise the names from the Discord, but I've not had the pleasure of speaking to them at all. AM2R itself, I've played the game, I've dabbled a little bit in Randomizer, but I am no way experienced in regards to like racing it as a
Gotcha.
randomizer in this type of scene. So I'm excited to see this. So what can
Yeah,
you tell me
currently,
then?
the beginning, there's not much going on. Since we start at basically the landing site, first order is pretty much always to kill the alpha here at the surface, because the chance of it having progression, like here it having bombs, is very high, so you don't want to miss that out.
Now that is a good find considering last week's seed, from what I
Yeah,
know,
well,
was a very late bomb seed. Finding
yeah,
it first item here, that's nice.
that is nice. Then they can also just quickly save warp back to save the 30 seconds of back traveling. And yeah, after that it's pretty much Golden Temple second, because it has like 11 items right next to each other. So even though getting some of the items are technically out of logic, uh, the fact that they're just so close together and that you can get them so quickly, you just pretty much always go there.
Yeah. And out of those items, so we have bombs first, and we start with Morph Ball as one of our kind of starting items. We do have access to doing like infinite bomb jumps. Is that something you would expect to see in Golden Temple for
Um,
some of the extra items?
Logically, I don't think so, but I'm also not that familiar on the logic right now, actually. I think the infinite bomb jumping required to get some of the other items would be only like the two items at the top, which require like intermediate or advanced infinite bomb jumping, and the rest you can just get casually anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because the game in vanilla kind of expects you to have bombs. Good to see already here in Golden Temple, clearing out the first checks.
So this is it the right side of Golden Temple, the kind of nice wee clean up, and you can do a pretty sure you can do a peek, can't you?
Yeah,
To
you
see
can do
what's
a
in the
peek.
far right.
Let's see, we'll probably go there right after his charge beam chamber. Around now. Meanwhile, Mr. Ledger has been mostly just collecting super tanks. Oh, and a speed booster upgrade for Glitzy.
It's a nice find.
A missile and an E-tank. Knowing Glitzy's skill, he will probably skip that E-tank.
It seems quite out of the way, so I wouldn't blame him.
It doesn't waste that much time, and I personally would collect it, because having early E-tanks is always nice. Because you never know when else you're gonna get them.
Hmm.
Oh, yeah, never mind. Glitzy is collecting it. But if you're skillful, you technically don't need E-tanks for a while, but considering E-tanks can be basically anywhere and suits can be basically anywhere, it's nice to get up stocked up early with health.
Yeah. In regards to the suits, are they progressive or are they split with AM2R? I can't remember.
Currently, both suits and jumps are progressive, so the first
Progressive.
suit will always be Barrier Suit, the second Gravity,
So we're always
and
guaranteed to get that damage reduction that Varia offers, because that's all
yeah,
Varia offers to us. So if the seed ever
correct.
needs gravity, then we're at least going to get Varia beforehand.
Yep,
So that's good
that's
to know at
correct.
least. And here we go. A nice wee infinite bomb jump to check this spider-based item at the top.
Yeah, and just a
Super
super
pack.
missile tank, which is still helpful.
Definitely seems worth, because I think your supers are definitely one of those things you want to stock up for our final boss, isn't it?
Yep. Both players now collecting Spacer, which is a nice beam to have. Even though it doesn't really unlock anything logical. But beams is just nice to have for the queen, because if you have 2 beams at least, so either wave and spacer, wave and plasma, spacer and plasma, or plasma and wave, doing the queen without no other way around, you are then basically able to farm off the queen, so that you don't need to kill her with bombs only,
Mm.
which probably for these players is not that big of an issue, but it also just saves a bit of time and makes the
Yeah.
queen fight less risky.
So this is us heading into the first of the breeding grounds.
Yup.
So is it 4 Metroids down here? 4 or 5?
It's 3.
Or is
Just
it just
one of
3?
each entry.
But we do get a hint here as well, don't we?
Yep. Which Glotzy will probably collect after killing this one or the next one. And the first DNA. So we have a Jokint. So not
Love
that
to
useful
see it.
information right now. Yep.
A power bomb tank. No, can't use that at the moment. Looks as if it's locked behind mains at the moment.
That is correct. Yeah, for anyone unaware, both in this randomizer, both super missiles and power bombs have the option to get locked behind the main item. So the super missile launcher and power bomb launcher, which is just there to basically avoid front loading the seat early and make it a bit less overpowered. Because otherwise, now that Glitzy already collected both super missiles and power bombs, if those main items wouldn't be there, you just could have already done a bunch of things early. And having them as separate items and spread it out is just helps a bit with that.
Yep, so it looks like Ledger's going to follow in Glitzy's tracks here. We'll be picking up that Metroid DNA
And the
shortly.
Jokint, yeah. Currently not too much exciting stuff going on. It's interesting here to see that Glitzy has done breeding grounds before Guardian, because Guardian's health scales up with the amount of missile tanks you have collected, not with the amount of missile tanks you have collected, but with the amount of missiles that you have. So
Okay,
if the Metroids and breeding grounds would have given him more missiles, he would have had to fight Guardian for like a little longer.
that's quite interesting actually.
It's
Well, the
not that
boss
long, it's
scales
just like
on missiles.
it's between 5 and 10 seconds, I think, for the amount of checks that Breeding Grounds 1 could have given. Oh, speaking of main power bomb launcher, there it is.
There we go.
But it's
So
still something
bombs
to
and power
consider.
bombs super early.
Yep, that is interesting.
So what do power bombs do for us then? What does that give us?
Power bombs unlocks the GFS Thoth, which is a little bit out of the way because it's like a huge empty area with 3 checks in each corner. It unlocks a few stuff in tower behind power bomb blocks, and I think that's mostly it.
Another DNA picked up on the ambushing Metroid.
So we have 2 DNA now, both being fairly free.
I am absolutely loving Glitzy's movement here.
Yeah, Glitzy is a top runner, so not too surprising to get some more advanced movement out of him. Was he actually able to peek what the cliffside he had? No, apparently not.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think the
Yeah,
bomb
just power
jump
bomb
was
tank.
just a little short.
Meanwhile, Mr. Ledge is here fighting Guardian and trying to catch up. Still fairly close behind. Only like a minute apart or so.
And we're going for a rat.
I mean, Glitzy has like 8 power bombs and can basically quick kill Arachne, so sure, why not? Just to
Poor
pretty
boy.
much
Massacred my poor boy. Didn't even pick up the missile.
Nope. Yeah, because the Queen scales with the amount of tanks of missiles you have collected, so you also want to avoid collecting missile tanks for that.
Ah, okay. Is that like missiles and super missiles it scales off of?
No, missiles only.
Just missiles. That's
Just
interesting.
missiles.
So that's why you want to prioritize getting more super missile tanks over regular missiles?
Correct.
That's quite cool.
It is slightly weird that Guardian's health scales with the amount of missiles you have, while the Queen's health scales with the amount of tanks you collected. But it is what it is. Mr. Legend now also finding his power bomb launcher. And Glitzy meanwhile is just claiming out the lower parts of Area 2, which also has a lot of checks nearby. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 checks now following up, I think.
So how many powerbomb tanks are there, expansions in this game? Because we've been seeing quite a lot of those front-loaded.
I think the original game has 20-ish. Oh, there's a progressive jump and spring ball. In this preset, we modify them slightly to 23, I think.
Okay.
Same with super missiles as well. It's just because of the Metroid checks. Because we have basically 40 added checks, and so we kind of filled them out a little bit with tanks and with the drop items that you've been seeing here from time to
There's
time.
the other progressive jump.
Yep.
Both. And spring ball. Oh boy. Now, spring ball is by far the best item in this game, and no one can tell me otherwise. Absolutely love that item. It just makes movement so clean.
Unfortunately, it's absolutely useless for logic.
That's why you should give it as a starting item. I said this months ago.
No, because the issue with giving it a starting item, we have discussed this, is that it makes movement, like for advanced people, if they have Spring Ball as a starting item, they have way big of an advantage with Spring Ball.
Now, as chat points out, we have found a suit on Mr. Ledger's side.
Yep. I didn't actually quite see where it was. Was it on the A3 exterior or was it on above the safe station?
That I'm not too sure. I was too busy watching Glitzy do these really cool space jump cancels as he was climbing the room.
It is interesting that Ledger decided to check the entrance of A3, but not too unsurprising, because those are also mostly in logic. So we have had cases where the progression was exactly there. So it's a bit of a gamble on whether you want to go to Area 2 first and do all of the front-loaded checks, or do the quick 30-second detour to Area 3, just in case the progression's actually there.
So I guess that's only kind of, at the moment, it only really matters whether there is a requirement for Gravity Suit. How much does Gravity Suit actually matter for some of the items? Like, how many items are technically locked behind gravity?
In this preset, I think it's like, if you're not counting it for damage, so like only for the underwater movement, I think it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 checks.
So it's unlikely that it will be required for something major.
Yeah,
Still
and
possible,
even
but
without logic, you can get like 4 out of those 6 without gravity. Jeff says you can get 5 out of them, but
So Breeding Grounds Alpha Nest,
Yeah.
I think there was a Gamma one there as well. And I missed the third one.
More supers. Alpha Squad, Jeff says. So required Alpha Squad once again.
Yep, so Mr. Ledger's not going to be too far away finding that spring ball in a double progressive jump.
Yup. Missile tank.
And all the while, Glitzy hasn't found too much of worth since then.
Nope.
Now, this is the Metroid evolution I despise.
Their hitbox is a bit janky, yeah.
It's just infuriating to fight them.
Well, Jay, it's not quite the underground tunnel, because underground tunnel is only one check. Alpha Squad would be like 5 underground tunnels in a row.
Well, I guess there is a kind of likeness here where Underground Tunnel is the banana stand of Echoes. Alpha Squad is the bunch of bananas found at the banana stand.
Yeah.
And there's 5 bananas there.
Ledger picking up a bit more missiles is surprising. I don't know if that just now was supposed to be for a refill, or whether he's just not feeling comfortable enough with the amount of missiles he had.
I guess looking at the 4 that is banked at the moment, that might be what is potentially pushing to pick up some extras.
Yeah, that could be. I mean, 60 is enough though, because like 30 is enough to kill all Metroid evolutions. 60-ish is usually more than enough.
So I guess, on average, how many super missiles are you likely to find without having to go out your way to find a little bit more? So, like, when it comes to Metroid Queen, when it gets to final bosses, what is the expansion loadout you want to have?
The one, yeah, as Jeff says, the one you want to have is like 10 to 12-ish. The one you get on average is like 8-ish, I think. If you're very lucky, you can get somewhere between 15 and 20.
Okay.
There's Fighter-Ball also.
Yeah. Now, is Glitzy going to go up into the ship here
That's a good
afterwards?
question.
Because I know, as you said, the ship is massive. That area is just incredibly sizable to navigate. Granted, we do have
Yeah.
space jump, so it's kind of okay, but
Nope.
Speed Booster
Ghosty
makes it so much
goes
easier.
down.
Okay.
Yeah, having speed boost at least for that area is very helpful. It's also interesting that both players have not found Screw Attack yet. It could be in A3, it could be in A4. We will see.
A free tank, may as well take it.
Yup. Depending on how Glitzy plays, like I know he's been a bit risky in the past.
Oh,
There's his suit.
there's the suit.
So it wouldn't surprise me if at this point he would, or not at this point, but if he would go to the Omegas early. Because Omegas are likely to have like your finite progression, so stuff like, in this case it would only be pretty much Plasma Beam, maybe Ice Beam. But whether he'll actually do it, unsure. Teresa only has a super missile tank, so that will not be picked up here.
Yeah, so Mr. Ledger's advantage is now vanish with the fact that Glitzy has picked up that suit. And Glitzy's obviously pushing into this area now, so he's going to be doing all these checks that
Yeah.
Mr. Ledger has not yet done.
That said, the fact that Glotzy does not have Speed Booster yet makes this a bit of a double dip, because you only now have access to 3 more checks, I think. And after that, he would have to save warp out or go out manually. So it's ideally if you can get into A3 with Speed Boost already collected, just like with Darth.
Mm.
But it's also not unheard of to have vanilla Speed Booster, so who knows?
And just a big health drop.
Yep. And a missile. Yep. So let's see, basically has only 1 gamma left, and then he would have to get out here again. Or he decides to just skip that gamma entirely. Also an option.
I guess might choose to. Oh, we're going back in for it.
No,
Oh,
just
we're
for
going
the
to pick up the
suit.
suit again. Yeah. So I guess the idea here is that if Glitzy decides to double dip it later with the speed booster, can always clean it up. And
Yeah,
that
that's
kind of
probably
return
the
path.
idea. That, or he just completely forgot about the gamma, that's also always an option.
Just pretend it's not there, it can't hurt you.
Glitzy now. Oof, yeah, and Glitzy forgot to save after getting the suit, so he either deliberately skipped the suit or he forgot to save.
We have warped all the way back to the start. So what's this warp doing for us then? Like sending us all the way back?
The warp is... It is nice if you are somewhere deep in A3 or A4, and you need to get out to A1 or A2 fast. Usually that's combined with like Screw Attack, so that you can then from there immediately walk back to somewhere else. But sometimes it's now, as Jay probably likely suggests just to check out this powerbomb check here, which is just a drop.
Okay. So this is where we'll go back for the suit
Yep,
for the third
again.
time. So where from here then? What's the thoughts? Where does this?
That's a good question. Both players are now mostly equal. I think Mr. Ledger is missing. Yeah, Mr. Ledger is missing the research side, so the dual alphas.
The spider
But
that
the
goes with
best
it. Yep.
choice would probably be to go down to tower, or to do the risky strat of going to Thoth. That's like the only logical thing so far, but both no. Yeah, Glitzy seems to go down to tower, while Mr. Ledger takes the risky route.
Well, I guess Mr. Ledger still has to pick up the spider ball here, so it's not going to be too risky for them. I guess the
Oh,
question is whether Ledger decides to stick it out here.
right.
That could be quite interesting because I presume all of Thoth is in logic, so it is something that could be expected
Yep,
with the space
all of
jump.
Thoth should be in logic. They have like 10 power bombs, and he is able to get all of his checks there with those. Let's see, me right here gets a missile. He's also either doing a safety save or just decided to redo his routing.
Here's the decision. Nope, Mr.
Nah,
Ledger's
nope.
taking the spider and leaving.
Yep, also going down to A4 then. And a missile tank, super missile tank. And what's the other last 2 checks here? A power bomb tank. And the last one we can't see. Yeah, as Jeff pointed out, it would have been a bit of a time saver to save before and then just drop out. But probably didn't think of it here.
Hmm. So it's like Glitzy is considering what Metroid he has to clean up here for DNA.
Yeah, seems like it. And also checking the poem check here. Which is an E-Tank, I think.
Yeah.
It was a bit hard to peek.
It was that and another power bomb, I think.
It's surprising how similar both players are routing this year. Like we have usually on the races after Area 2, the routes diverge a lot, even sometimes before Area 2. But here they're mostly the same.
So this is a check that Glitzy hasn't done yet, that Mr. Ledger is opting for.
Yep, the 1 DNA. Which is also pretty funny. Oh, and another DNA. Pretty funny because that Gamma in the last weekly had the expected bombs you were supposed to get very early. So I kind of feel like Legend now got this very early just out of trauma of the last race. But yeah, Glitzy will never also collect that and get the 1 DNA. Which DNA does Glitzy have that Legend doesn't? Oh right, the above Gamma that you just killed.
Yeah.
And Tower seemed to have been useless, which means Thoth was indeed the way to go.
Like to hear it.
Although
Wasn't at least
theoretically,
completely useless. We did get some DNA.
right.
Ooh.
Glitzy also going down to A5, which is also technically logic, which just people usually don't think about, like me right now, because you kind of just associate way more with Stream Attack. Because you can basically fast travel completely in A5 once you have Screw Attack. Interesting to see whether Mr. Ledger will follow with those, or whether he would go back up and check Thoth.
What was that? Did I just see Glitzy teleport across the screen there?
Yeah, that's basically a trick in AM2R where wall jumping is coded kind of funkily, and in a bunch of weird situations you are able to zip across the screen. And
Okay.
underwater suitless is like the very easy um, easy application of it, where you just basically wall jump and then immediately move towards the wall and morph, and that will zip you across the whole screen.
That is weird. Cool,
It
but
is weird.
weird.
Yeah. It is used in a few applications here and there, and it's also sometimes just nicer to perform to avoid enemies. Because then you just don't have to deal with them at all.
So Mr. Ledger doing a little bit more cleanup. I think this is
Yep.
one of the Metroids that we didn't see from Glitzy.
We did.
Did we see this one?
Yeah.
I must have missed it then.
Glutzy doesn't realize though right now that he can't do that much more in A5. Because here both ways need either gravity and speed booster or ice beam, both of which he doesn't have. And the upper way is a one way only. Yeah.
So is this very much looking like Thoth then?
Yep.
That's bad.
Which he either forgot about or he's purposefully avoiding.
taking the work to start because traveling downwards is a lot faster than climbing through water.
Yep. Especially with how research side is more on the upper side. Now, if he goes to A2, then he's definitely purposefully avoiding Thoth. But he can't even do any check in A2 as far as I'm aware, because the one EMP check there is guarded by Beat Booster. The one on A3 technically isn't though. Oh, yep, he is going to A3 to go with that. To do that one check.
So this sounds like quite a bit of nasty logic. If that EMP activation was in logic, and then you're expected to come all this way to get one item, it feels quite a rough journey.
Yeah, but I also... Oh, he can't even do that check, right? Because that's blocked by super missiles.
Ah.
So yeah, the way logic seems like to me at least is that it really wants you to go to Thoth. Oh, right. As Jeff pointed out, you can't even activate EMP and then go out, because the only way to go out is via warp to start, and that is not logic.
Okay.
Because there are crumble ways on the way in, and the intended way to escape would be with Ice Beam. But currently we can see Ledger doing the Zetas fight, which are out of logic. So I'm unsure currently why he would do them, especially since that take quite a while to do with Mrs. only. Oh, but it definitely has paid off.
Oh.
Those were the speed booster.
Okay.
Did he
So
do the other
that...
Zetas too?
No, I think that's the only one Ledger has actually done here.
That
Now,
feels
it
strange to only do that one specific Zeta.
might just be that that's the first one Ledger's actually got to, though. Might still be
It could
looking to
be.
clean up the others. Well, I guess the idea here now is the fact that we've got Speed Booster. Ledger might just be, I've got what I wanted, or I've got something, I'm just going to leave it.
Yeah.
But at least that
yes.
tells Ledger that there's supers should be somewhere, I guess.
Yep. As Chad points out, supers at this point have to be in Thoth. Because there is unlikely any other place where progression could be that would now lead to supers, to speed booster.
Yeah. So
Just like
that is a
with
good
this.
find.
Yep.
Not just from like a quality of life perspective, but at least it puts that kind of logic chain a little bit into perspective.
It also probably means that he can now actually pick up the supers faster. Yeah, as you can see, Ledger already has like 14 super missiles, so
Yeah.
unlikely to have any future issues with Queen or bosses.
Definitely looks like Glitzy is following into Thoth here to pick up
Yep.
on the logic that was intended.
And Mr. Ledger now going to Thoth to also collect the supers there. Or hopefully.
So Ledger's going to be last in, but most likely going to be first out thanks to that speed booster, which is going to save a whole lot of time.
Yeah, probably. I'm surprised why he... Oh, he's probably trying to shine spark up the elevator. But probably realized it doesn't save that much time. Or he's just trying it out here. I personally wouldn't go for it, because like the elevator isn't that much slower over shine sparking up. Especially since you bonk here at the top anyway.
It's fancy though.
It is fancy, yeah. Maybe he
You
just
get to
wanted
go
to show
zoom.
off for a restream.
Yeah, so this is going to be some really fast cleanup here.
Oh, even more upgrades.
So what's the worst thing to find here then? Well, never mind. There's the launcher.
Yeah, there's the launcher, and that also makes a required Genesis.
Is this rare? Is this common? Do we see Genesis often?
This is relatively rare. Usually Genesis doesn't have too much progression. And with Thoth also being out of the way, people don't usually go for it. But yeah, it's likely that the intended way to beat Genesis here was to kill him with all the PBs that were so early. Because that is a logic. That is in logic to kill him that way.
Ledger not picking up the super launcher?
He's probably going for backup save. Because Genesis can hit quite hard. Yeah, that's backup save.
Okay. So even with like the amount of PBs and the supers that you would have access to, it's still worth taking that save?
Yeah, because while the fight shouldn't be too hard, if you make a few oopsies, Genesis can pretty much combo you to death. And while you can play this very safe with just killing him with PBs, it's also way slower. Because super missiles do just way more damage on him than power bombs. But he's managing it. Meanwhile, Glutzy is going out of the resource side and now probably heading to A3.
And down goes
Genesis.
So, we have our supers now, which leads to our speed booster. Ledger is in the know. Ledger has speed booster, knows that was the most recent logical thing. Where do you think that would push us?
I personally would think it would push into Area 3, the interior part. Because that's like the big thing locked behind... Oh, ice cream. The big thing locked behind Speed Booster. There's not really that much else. Except a few puzzles here and there. But it looks like even though the logic expected Glitzy to go to tower first, he's still getting quite a bit of useful stuff in here.
I'm enjoying all this speed boosting.
Yeah,
That's
AM2 has a lot of really nice movement tech. Also, I will need to very quickly BRB.
Okay. Yep, so it looks like Glitzy is clearing out another one of the breeding grounds. I can't remember if this is breeding grounds 2 or 3. I think it's 2. What have we got for the hint? We've got a Zeta nest, and I missed the other one. This must be what it's like for people that watch Prime and see us Prime runners fly through the hints. Yep, so Mr. Ledger picking up the Ice Beam as well. Yeah, Ledger's just tracing Glitzy's steps here. Well, not too far off, but Ledger obviously has that advantage of the speed booster, so we'll be able to pass through these rooms a lot quicker.
And I'm back. What did I miss? Glitzy cleared out Bidding on 3 from what it seems like?
Yeah, on his way out. Ledger's not far off. Just tracing
Gotcha.
steps. Outside of Ice Beam, there was just a DNA down here. And I think that was about it.
Did the hint give anything useful?
The I only read a Zeta, but I wasn't sure which one it is. But I think it's maybe one of the ones that we already got because there was a Zeta required.
And we'll probably see up in a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Supers, Glitzy is probably now gonna head back to Tower and kill the rest of the Zetas. But also has gotten a logic for him. The A5 Zeta.
And Hydro Station something something.
A5, so he's probably gonna hold off to that Zeta until after he gets to Alpha Squad as well. Which would be really nice to do with Screw Attack, but unfortunately neither of them have that yet. I wonder if Screw Attack is maybe in the inner parts of Area 3.
Nice wee energy tank for troubles down here.
Yep.
And Glitzy is heading back this way. And I believe Glitzy is going to stumble into the speed booster shortly. And the advantage is going to close.
Yeah. With how proficient Glitzy is with Speed Booster, I wonder whether he'll be able to catch up. Because he's not that far behind Mr. Ledger. No, Jay, they're still missing the hint in A5, and they are missing the hint in the nest. Unless you mean whether all DNA has been hinted yet. In which case, I don't think so.
And there
I may be
goes
wrong
another
with that,
DNA.
though. Yep.
So to remind myself, the DNA counter on the top right, does that count down or count up?
It counts down.
Down.
It is required for streamers to have it count down. Because there is an option in-game to have it count up for people that just prefer that, but for restreams we specifically enforce it to count down to avoid confusion.
Okay.
Legeno also heading into A3 to probably hopefully find Scuba Attack there, because that's like the last. Logic expects them to get Wave Beam definitely for the Queen and Plasma.
Okay. So is Spazer's never logically required for anything, and
yeah, only for
is
the Queen.
Ice not required?
Ice is required to get to the Queen.
Who get to the Queen? Oh, for the for.
And all beams are required
Yeah.
to kill the Queen.
Also, all beams are required logically to fight the Queen.
Correct.
I expect you to have them all, right?
But since the only requirement is to fight the Queen itself, their logic placement can pretty much be anywhere.
Yeah.
Going back for that one, super. Why not?
Yeah, that's worth it.
Yeah, especially since he has a few more missiles than ideally. So, might as well compensate with more supers.
Definitely seen some fancy movement tech here from Glitzy with the speed balls.
He's now
and the...
doing the going into A5 again to kill the Zeta and do Alpha Squad, I presume, and to get the hint. So Glitzy is definitely more playing for hints right now, rather than trying to follow logic more, which, considering he has almost all of the items, yeah, makes sense.
So Ledger's now picking up on some of the stuff that Glitzy has done before, but can actually do the full
loop,
area, yeah.
I think gravity may be required to fight the queen as well, but I'm not too sure on that. Yeah, well, there's a reason between having an item that's expected for you to fight the queen and having an item that you're expected to get to the queen. Because in order to get to the queen, you basically screw attack alone is enough. But to fight the queen, logically it expects you to be able to actually do the fight without any proper issue, without much issues.
Are these EMP balls not very dangerous to blow up?
Not that dangerous, they're just annoying.
Right.
The question will now be, will Glotzy have a joke hint here or not? Because if it will be a joke hint, then he'll be forced to probably take the slow route to get the hint in A6. Which would be not ideal.
How many joke counts are in the pool?
It depends. Because the way the
There's
joke
Wade.
hints work is that it basically shuffles on, or it rolls the dice on how many hints a Septok should have.
Yeah, looks
And
like
if
we
it
have
was
an
zero,
Omega at least.
Yep.
So we're only short one beam now, we just need plasma.
Right.
One of those cool
But
zips. Those zips are really interesting.
they
That is
are.
baffling that that's actually a thing.
This is the room that most players usually use slips on because you can avoid all of the enemies in between. But knowing Glotzy, since he knows the last 2 DNA is in hideout and in bubble layer, he's probably only gonna check this now to hopefully find scuba attack so he can access A6 easier. Because otherwise he doesn't really have anything else here to gain.
And is screw attack required, or can we do it without?
We can definitely do it without scuba attack. It's
Yeah.
just way more convenient because it makes the whole trip from like 5 minutes to 20 seconds. But at this point,
if there's only 2 DNA left, it kind of feels like we are effectively in a go mode situation then.
yeah, it's pretty much go mode. The interesting case here with AM2R compared to Prime is that while logic expects you to have the items for the final fight, you don't need them, and if you're a very good player, you can definitely just avoid them. This is what Glotzy will probably do with his Plasma Beam.
Yeah, it's the unfortunate side of things where Prime, you are required to play a very slow game of Simon Says.
Yeah. Now, the thing is that Mr. Legit did not find his Screw Attack yet, which I honestly find very surprising. I definitely would have expected A3 to have Screw Attack. Which means where else is it?
Could it just be in the Omega Nest as well? in that area, like in a final
It should
section.
be, but it would be unusual because, like, according to the progression chain, the next item should have been somewhere locked behind speed.
Which would be the wave, wouldn't it?
Well, Wave was in
The wave was on
the
Alpha,
first squad,
the Alpha Squad, yeah.
but you
Could
don't
we
need
get
speed
to Alpha
boost to
Squad
go
without
there.
the speed booster?
Yeah, we definitely can.
Yeah. And wave does nothing for us, right?
But yeah, the big emphasis is on should. Randovania can very much just sometimes decide to skip that out. But it's usually expected.
One more DNA to go.
Yep. And then it's pretty much just Glotzy's way to go up to the Queen.
So I guess it's at this point, chat, where you can start to figure out, put your guesses in chat as to where
Where Plasma
the
Beam and
screw
Screw
attack
Attack
and
are.
plasma were.
Glotsy is almost full tracker, except Plasma and Screw. You know, I wonder whether the required progression was to get the supers, then go into Breeding Grounds to get Ice Beam, go into Area 5 to activate EMP, then get the Speed Booster, and get a Screw Attack or something from the EMP puzzle in A2.
Okay.
That would have been very convoluted, but knowing Randovania, I wouldn't put it past it. But yeah, at this point it's just Glotzy racing to the Queen, because there's nothing else pretty left for him.
And is this a very kind of comfortable position to fight the Queen with?
Pretty much. Screw Attack in itself doesn't really help with the Queen, it's just for movement, to traverse between areas faster.
Hmm.
And Glitzy is very comfortable where he just doesn't need the plasma. 2 beams is more than enough, and he also has charge beam with bombs where he can just damage the Queen with.
So this is a change that I noticed you must have put in a while ago, is you've got the kind of the Metroid crystals here to help with movement, I presume? Because I don't think these are
No,
here
the
normally.
Metroid crystals, they're the normally, yeah, I didn't change those.
Ah, I don't recognize them.
I assume Dr. M64 put them in there for environmental storytelling. But I don't actually know for certain. Just like at this point you
mama.
would... Yep, there's the big Queen. And the first phase done.
That was quick. Granted, we did burn through all of our supers and that.
Yeah, usually
phase
what you
just to
do
get it.
is you save the supers for the last phase, because that one takes the longest. And also makes it a bit harder to farm blobs, but... to each their own.
But we are making short work of these phases, though.
Yeah, you can usually one phase the in-between phases. saving a few missiles for the last phase here. Oh, actually, Glotzy seems to save the missiles for the very last phase to avoid killing her with a power bomb. Or not. Meanwhile, Mr. Ledger has entered A5 and is on his way to activate EMP.
As I'm curious to see if Mr. Ledger sticks out here, or at least follows through, because it would be interesting to find out where our remaining items are. You know, down goes the queen. It is time to get out of dodge.
Interestingly enough, this last section can sometimes be the most stressful. Because from this point, it's your movement and the baby's MG. And if the baby doesn't want to play nice, it would just fly in a circle for like 30 seconds. Like there. And again.
It's that hungry baby.
This is an unfortunate amount of luck, but fortunately Glitzy also is fine with that currently because of his position.
Yeah, so it looks like Mr. Ledger's going
Straight
towards
to
the
the
Alpha
end.
Squad here.
Yeah. Actually, I can't really see from the restream. Is he missing 3 DNA or 2 DNA?
I want to say it's 2.
No,
But
it
that
has to
doesn't
be
make
3
sense. That
because
has to be 3.
yeah, it has to
Because
be
he's
3.
not done the nests. Like,
And it's GG for Glitzy.
Glitzy takes 57:11 seconds. That timer is actually quite accurate, which is good.
Now let's see where Plasma and Scuba Attack was. Scuba Attack in Scuba Attack Chamber, Vanilla. Oh boy.
Oh,
That
that's
was
nice.
something. Yeah.
And Plasma's in
That's
the Joe Gamma nest.
yeah. That's the second time I've seen a Plasma Scuba Attack be Vanilla in this preset. Something seems off there. Yeah. Now, can we get Glitzy here for an interview?
We'll let the invite wizard sort that one out. Because no doubt the invite will arrive broken.
Probably. Mr. Ledger is actually doing Vanilla Scuba Attack. Surprising.
I wonder what Mr. Ledger's thoughts are going to be when they actually find a vanilla screw.
Yeah. Hello, Glitzy. What are your thoughts on this seed?
Maybe on mute, let's see. Oh, there we go.
Yeah. Go on, you
Man.
have time.
And there is Mr. Ledger finding the screw attack.
Yep. So now it's just warping very quickly to the to hideout and then going out.
So Glitzy, tell us your thoughts, your feelings
My
after
thoughts?
that one.
Your thoughts, yeah.
Man, if I were to just check top sooner, it's you know what's funny? Before I went to even check top, I thought like, oh, maybe supers or something important might be in that west gamma in the tower, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then on my way heading down, I'm like, oh shit, oh crap, the stuff is all that I forgot. Um, I didn't check Tough originally because I didn't have speed, and I thought it wasn't worth it because we had previous seeds that didn't require Tough. So I thought like Tough might be like a big waste of time.
Yeah, Thoth is always kind of a gamble on whether you would do it or not, especially without speed booster.
Yeah, and from what I've actually read in the chat, apparently Ledger went to check Tough early.
So
I
That
assume.
is not
the
quite correct.
yeah, so
Yeah.
the major divergence that actually happened between yourself and Mr. Ledger was the Mr. Ledger was kind of behind on a lot of the checks that you were doing, but you kind of followed the same path. And I think it was once you were in tower, Mr. Ledger decided to go for the one Zeta, I think it was, that had speed booster, where you'd
Yeah.
opted
Oh
to
my.
kind of skip it. So he spiked the speed booster, which immediately said Super's lock speed booster. And it was at that point Ledger basically looked at the map and said the only place that Supers can really be was
He's
Thoth.
Tough. Yeah.
But you had cleared out a good chunk of the world at the same time that you kind of both ended up in Thoth already. The only thing was that Ledger had speed booster going in.
Oh, so we arrived at Tough somewhat at the same time?
Pretty
Yep.
much, yeah.
Pretty
You were
much.
first in, first out, but not much of a difference. But for yourself, you ended up routing quite quickly back to where Speed Booster was anyway, and then once you had the Speed
Yeah.
Booster, your movement just grew from there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the big thing right between you and Mr. Ledger here is basically that your movement was much cleaner. So
Mm.
even though both of you mostly follow the same progression, it just caused you saving a few seconds here, a few seconds there, which just added up tremendously.
Yeah. Beautiful to watch, I
Now-
will say that. Absolutely beautiful to watch,
Thank you.
just to see that kind of that movement.
Yeah.
Thank you. I actually wonder what Gala did now because, if you didn't know, Gala finished first.
Mhm.
To the viewers there, I'm not the first finisher, unfortunately. Maybe one
Yala
day.
finished around 7 minutes ahead of you, which
Yeah.
makes me
7 minutes
wonder
earlier, yeah.
if he skipped out of. I know that the one thing you wasted a bit of time on was going to Area 5 early, and then dropping out, and then going to Area
Yeah,
5
I
again.
didn't think about that fully. I was like, yeah, I can get through this. I'm like, no, you're wrong, Glitzy. The hell are you doing? The hell are you? Right.
And
That's like, I think like 3 minutes time loss at least because
yeah, probably.
I don't know, my brain wasn't braining.
Something that
Properly.
also probably saves another minute is not collecting Varia suit 3 times.
Ah,
Yeah, oh yeah, Jeff just mentioning
no,
it.
listen. Okay, I had a plan. Okay, so I picked up first time. I went into Area 3, realized Area 3 didn't really have anything. So I just kind of walked to the last safe station, picked it up. But then I realized that I want to go check the item above Guardian, the power bomb. So I warped to to starting location. So I didn't have Warrior again. I went there. Wasn't anything important, so I warped back to the last save and then picked up Warrior again.
So it was all part of the plan. Is that what you're saying? Picking up 3 times?
Yes.
Is that some
Yes,
sort of like
because
RNG manipulation? Is that what we're saying?
Racing 1 minute to save
quite
2 minutes later.
Yeah, but it's like um it's one of those things that's like I wanted to, just because I wanted to check this one thing,
Yeah.
I had to do this thing a lot. It's just annoying. But once again though, like a lot of this the check is kind of like gamble, you never know. Maybe
Yeah.
It's
the
random.
Guardian
Sorry.
might help.
I do
You know.
find it funny how all of the runners seem to get more and more scarred with all of the previous seeds, because they now also tend to check all of the item checks that previously had important progression.
Yeah, I realized that too, right? I realized that too. So,
Which is
like
very fun to see.
I'm making checks that's like that's I have like messed up on previously that cost me the race. So like I don't know if you saw, but I literally checked almost everything before going to top.
Yep. And now the
Uh,
next few seeds you will check the Optima earlier.
I think we're safe to say that one's probably not going to happen.
I mean, you never know.
You never know.
also-
That
No,
is
listen,
random.
I also
after-
would have
after-
expected Ledger to check Vanilla Scuba Attack, but he did.
But after I knew that Super Launcher was in top, my mind was like, okay, you know what? You gotta check this. You gotta check this area next time, man. I don't know if you want to skip this again. Yeah.
This is also like
Yeah.
the second time I think progression is on there. I don't know whether the last one it was there it was Speed Booster or whether that was also Supers. I kind
That
of
was
want to say Speed
Booster, I
Booster.
believe. That was Speed Booster, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I think that's the reason why I like don't really check Toph, because we had a seed that like Toph didn't have anything useful, and then I believe Gala didn't actually go even to check Toph, right?
Right, and
And
then he won
he
because of that, I think.
yeah, it's I don't know, man. That's an inch my head.
It is also
Yeah.
just unfortunate with aim draw with how open it
Open it
becomes
is,
so
yeah.
early. Because like in Prime at least, or in Echoes, one item doesn't unlock a bunch of checks in like 3 different areas. And in aim draw it kind of does. Because like
Yeah.
after Super Missiles, what also could have been potentially be likely is that Mines would have had progression.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a byproduct of how much the beams unlock doors in that game. So the world is very much gated, pardon the pun, by the beams. But yeah, it seems in AM2R there is so much that just becomes available at any given time, and you can just
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
Like,
you
pick
got
wrong one.
bombs. Congrats, 80% of the map is open now.
Yep.
Go explore. Good luck.
But I think it also kind of it goes to show as well is that the game is very much kind of movement focused. That you have such good movement tech that even
Yeah.
though the game opens up like a good chunk of it, you can move
Yeah.
through that game so quickly with all the teleporters are there, all of the kind of the speed booster skips and kind of mechanisms through the longer rooms.
It
I
very
actually-
much is a combination of both movement tech and reading logic, because even if you have the best movement, if you completely misread logic, then you will definitely be slower than someone who
Yeah.
has slightly worse movement but just reads logic better.
I've had that experience before with you, Meepy. Remember? Yeah.
Yeah, we've had that a few times.
Yeah.
That's randomizer for you, like regardless of what you say, like understanding logic and being able to follow logic or understanding where you even skip logic is incredibly powerful because information is the most powerful tool in a randomizer.
Yeah. You know what? I feel like the movement in AM2R is actually very surprising to me, because you would never guess that like a game as linear as AM2R is so movement focused. When I first learned this game, right? It's to me it's like jaw dropping just how much speed change you can do, just how long you can keep it going. Like you just don't really expect that in AM2R.
Something I wonder also whether there are still more speed checks to be discovered, because there hasn't been that much research on rando focused speed keeps.
Yeah.
Right.
It'll be the same because, like, Metroid Prime is exactly the same, where in certain rooms there'll be like strategies that have been known about for years because of like the any percent speedruns. But as soon as you introduce randomizer and all of a sudden you're passing through a room from a completely different direction, the tech that you use to travel that room blows up. And all of a sudden you have all these cool new tricks and kind of movement opportunities. So it'll be the
Yeah.
same with like AM2R.
GG for Mr. Legend now being around 10 minutes later,
GGs.
which isn't too bad.
GG's.
Now we wait a few
Congratulations.
minutes to hopefully get him into chat too.
Yeah.
So that later. Hello,
Oh.
Mr. Ledger.
Hello.
What are your thoughts on the seed?
Hello? Oh,
Hello.
Hello.
okay. Wow. I was just playing. Like, I think I was just like logged in before the race even started, and I had no idea that I was being restreamed. So that's cool.
Oh.
That's nice.
Oh.
No, it's okay. It's fine. I don't mind. It's probably
Okay.
better that way, because that way I'm not thinking about I'm on the restream.
That's probably a benefit.
Anyway, that was terrible. Genesis and Vanilla Screw, and I got the unhinted speed booster, and yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, every game in AM2 has unhinted, so every game, every item.
Yeah.
I'm
That's-
not sure. Yeah.
No, on you go first.
I'm not sure exactly why I just decided to do that particular Zeta first without any supers. I guess maybe because I was also doing that in some practice seed that I was doing earlier today. Let's just kill Zetas without supers for fun, even though it's not required. It's not a thing that the logic wants you to do.
And it worked out. Like, that was actually probably one of the most important parts about this race, was that for the most of the beginning of the race, you and Glitzy were following the same path. All right, a few divergences here and there, but you always like synced back up to a degree. But you choosing to do that Zeta was actually incredible because it gave you the speed booster ahead of Glitzy, and that pushed you to understand, obviously, that speed booster was locked behind supers, therefore supers had to be, unfortunately, where they were. But I guess the upside for Glitzy was just that through a little bit of kind of cleaner movement, had a little more checks under the
for
belt.
sure.
And you just kind of synced back up, oddly enough, again at Thoth, going for those supers. But you had the speed booster advantage of being able to go in and go out, and then
Yeah,
chase from
I
there.
just I didn't think to, like, as soon as I got speed booster, I was like, oh man, now that I have this, where do I go from here, from tower? And I was like, oh well, I guess I stumbled upon Thoth first, so let's do that first, and then oh man, and then I see the super launcher, and then you pick it up, and then and Genesis isn't even a fight that I've practiced a lot. Like, even in my own personal like randomizer presets with like door randos and all that stuff, I turn off Genesis from progression because I just don't like the boss fight. And here comes this weekly preset seed to bite me in my behind.
It's always like
Maybe.
that.
Zero Genesis practice. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just, oh, power bombs are good. Oh, supers are good sometimes, and I just try. Yeah, whatever.
And this is going to link back to something funny that Meepy was saying before you joined us, was the trauma of past seeds. Looking back and doing these checks, doing these things that you wouldn't normally do because the last seed you played bit you in the backside. is this going to be one of those situations for you, Ledger, where you end up turning Genesis back on to get that practice and just go, I don't want this to happen again, or are you just going to try and shuffle it under the rug and ignore it?
Well, besides that, and also, check screw attack chamber. Check gravity. Check guardian chamber. It's all, it's one or two or the other. It's all gonna come back to
Yeah.
hit you soon enough, eventually.
It's also really brutal when you actually, based on past trauma seeds, you check something, but then it's not really anything, but then you lose time and you lose the race because of that.
Yeah, didn't that happen last seed, or do I misremember?
I don't
This-
remember anything for last week. I wasn't
Okay.
I
I
was
saw
watching,
that.
but
I saw that either last seed or the seed before we had someone actually lose because they checked a seed that once had progression, but then turned out to not have progression.
yeah, I don't remember really. Uh,
I forgot to say GG's. GG's
Yeah.
to
yeah,
everyone.
GG's.
But yeah. Any final thoughts on the seed then?
Any fun? No, not
Who
really.
gendered? Who gendered? Who gendered?
This was me. I thought that last time we had such an unfortunate seed with what TGC gen that I thought, okay, let me just gen this one
It
and
was
that's just gonna be
perfect.
a little
I
bit
don't know what you're on
nicer.
about. You got bombs first time this time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, bombs was the first item.
Yeah.
And then I thought, must have done a really good job for the seed to be so easy, and then whoops.
So
Super
Yeah,
Genesis.
I won't
you
take the
thought.
super I won't take the super obvious route and say, oh, Meepy, you should never gen ever again. This was a really funny seed. I don't think it was
Yeah,
terrible at all. You
same.
keep genning these seeds.
Okay.
These are the kind of seeds we want to see.
Funny seeds, yes.
But
Yeah,
these are the
exactly.
kind of seeds that are less entertaining.
How dare you?
They're cool. And I feel like I got super lucky with some of those. Like I feel like I got like 3 or 4 unhinted DNA, and then the unhinted speed booster and a bunch of other stuff. And I
The
thought, oh
DNA here
man,
also was like fairly good, all things considered, because you were front loaded with like 2 in Breeding Grounds of Golden Temple and at the entrance to A2. And then Breeding Grounds 3, I think, had like 1 or 2 more DNA. Area 4 had 2 DNA. So
yeah, the
you
Zeta
had
and Alpha Squad.
basically
Yeah,
everything just from or like 3/4 just from a normal cleanup.
yeah,
Yeah.
just your
And the only
standard area cleanup that is good to do when you enter an
yeah,
area.
the only thing that really was a bit out of the way was like the A5 Metroids, Alpha Squad and the Zeta, and the Nest Metroids. But that's just because Scare Attack was vanilla.
Yeah, and also Gravity, the second progressive suit, was also behind Screw Attack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure that
I
means you were forced to enter A5 without Gravity and do the whole A5 distribution energy shebang.
you know you know what? I'm actually glad that I didn't found screw attack, because then I would go check, gravity, or go check all this. No.
Like
I don't
I,
think you would have.
I seriously thought, like, I saved before checking Screw Attack Chamber because I was like, oh man, like I know where the last 2 DNA are, but am I really gonna go all the way back through main caves to to the depths from A5, and then do all that stuff, and then I was like, okay, well, one check won't hurt, right? And then I got Screw Attack, and then oh wow, better go back, man. That was
Yeah, it do be like that.
silly. But yeah, that's it. I've said all I've wanted to say about the seed. Pretty cool.
Well, GG's to both runners.
Also,
GG's
everyone
to
else who
Gala
participated
as
in the race.
well. Yep,
And
and
to
Words is
Worst.
also finished. Yep. Miseries to the last place player in the race, which is Meepy.
Oh,
But no, pleasure having both of you on the restream. It was good to watch. It was a educational ride for myself. I have dabbled a little bit, but not as much as yourselves, who are very experienced in this, which was great.
It's great to have you in commentary either ways.
Yeah, thank you for having me on the restream.
Likewise.
Yeah, so chat, follow the runners. We'll see if we can get the runner invites or the runner links in chat. I would say follow Meepy
Wait,
as
why
well,
is it?
but
follow the commentators as well. Yeah.
I'm not there.
No
Oh.
way. Hold on.
That's
Wait.
strange.
I think I can get it.
There you go.
there we go.
He's faster. Oh, he got it. Oh.
But yes, follow our runners. Follow them as they, I presume, use both stream somewhat regularly, maybe doing AM2R. Give them a follow, see their regular stuff.
Not me.
And
Quincy
yeah,
does.
And also, if you're interested in racing yourself or just checking out how the randomizer works, feel free to also check out the Aim to Randomizer Discord server.
Aye.
With that
Yeah.
said, I think we are done here.
Yep.
Yes.
so thank you, everybody.
Alright.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Yep.
See you-
GG's.
Don't forget
See
to
ya
save
next
the
week.
next mission.
Yes,
Don't forget
chat.
to check your FS next time.
But yes, chat. Remember, check your vanilla screw attack locations. Don't leave out Thoth, and make sure that your next mission has those ticked off. And we'll see you there. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.